Good afternoon, my friends. This is the Grim Flayer. Hope you're doing very well today, and I hope you are as excited as I am to debut Pioneer Rock. That's right, bringing BG the Rock to the Pioneer format. We're going to show them the meaning of interaction. It's going to be great, and we're going to get straight into a league, live recorded. It's my first league, so you're going to be seeing me learn the format on the fly, or learn some things about the format on the fly. Hopefully, I do not punt too hard against decks that I don't know what they're up to, but hopefully we'll be able to get there. I think the deck's going to be really powerful, and I have made a few changes to the deck tech, which is in the description below. It came out last night, and I had a few changes that were already baked into the deck tech. You know what I'm talking about if you've seen that, and then a few others that I've taken your advice on, so thanks to everybody who has contributed their thoughts. They're all very, very valuable, and nobody really, let's be honest, knows exactly what to do right now. So if I didn't take your specific suggestion, well, maybe you're still right anyway. Who knows? But just briefly to go over the changes, of course, if you want the full deck tech, you can check that out before you watch this video. We had a Garruk Relentless, which is not Pioneer legal in the main deck, as a placeholder and as a indicator of the type of spot along the curve I was thinking of, and kind of the value facing slash, standalone threat role I was thinking of, and Kalitas was kind of the obvious choice to come in from the sideboard to take that spot. Very main deckable in Modern. I don't see any reason why that would be different here. So Kalitas comes into the main, and the other thing that's come from the sideboard to the main is actually the Blast Zone. I did play a few tournament practice lobby games last night, and they went really well. But I also found very few targets for Field of Ruin. Now, I know they're out there, and I know Field is good with Grim Flayer, with Deathrite Shaman, and with Tireless Tracker, so I'm loath to cut it all together. But, our mana is pretty demanding. There is, if you look at all these green-black cards on 2, and the fact that Deathrite Shaman sometimes needs colored mana to function, there's an argument for even going down to 1 field in 1 zone, or only 2 field and keeping the zone on the side. But we do have a statistically consistent mana base even with these in here, so maybe it's a slightly greedy mana base, but either way, we brought the Blast Zone into the main, so we freed up 2 sideboard slots that way, and I also cut Liliana's Triumph and the Elder Spell. I was thinking we were cutting at least one of those from the category of including those 2 and Cast Down and Legion's End. Those were kind of the 4 similar spells. But, so, we got 4 new slots all day based on that, and, or maybe only 3, counting is hard, but in any case, we did bring in a few exciting new cards. We are playing Bile Blight. This was a suggestion in the comments. I have always loved this card. I think it might actually be a really spicy way to shore up our removal here. We're going to be very well configured against aggro decks and other things where they die, where they play small creatures that die to Bile Blight. Definitely really nice. 2-for-1 potential instant speed. -X/-X. I don't know how much in the format that will get around, but certainly a non-zero number of things. We are also playing Veil of Summer. It's a card I've kind of, made excuses not to include here and there, but a couple people pointed out its absence, and I think it's powerful enough that maybe we should just be jamming it, even though we have a lot of good things to do against Farah decks anyway, against the blue and black or black interactive decks. And speaking of which, we just threw a bomb in here to round things out. 6 mana Garruk. Gotta love it. This is like the king of the Flayers, right? This is like Grim Flayer's final form. Is Garruk Cursed Huntsman, so of course I love him, and he's a bomb. He's a game-winning bomb in mid-range and in control if you can resolve him and stick him around. So let's do it, guys. Let's get right into a league of Pioneer, first time ever, and we see somebody has 2 trophies already. The absolute madman. Gotta love it. Yeah, I was mistaken. I actually didn't think leagues began until today when I made my deck tech yesterday. Little did I know leagues had gone live at the time I was recording my deck tech, so I'm a day behind, but it's all good. I don't know. I think we keep this. on the power of turn 1 Thoughtseize. It's definitely an awkward hand, though. Uh-oh. Sacred Foundry, a red deck wins deck, probably going to punish us extra hard for keeping a hand like this, but they don't have a turn 1 play, and it could be something else. So I guess we're supposed to be a little bit careful with our life total here in case it is an aggressive deck. And if it's not, if it's control, you know, holding the Thoughtseize until a little bit closer to casting Vraska is not a bad thing either. But Battlefield Forge looks like a straight-up Boros deck of some kind. Smuggler's Copter. Alright. Ooh, Deathrite Shaman. Okay, so I mean our mana continues to be exceedingly awkward here. Obviously, option 1 is to cast Thoughtseize, option 2 is to hold up Fatal Push, option 3 is to play Deathrite Shaman and have a really good turn next turn. I think Deathrite Shaman is not unlikely to die, so it's either Thoughtseize or Push. I'm actually kind of inclined to just hold up Push. Yeah, we've basically time-walked ourselves with this mana. Veteran Motorist, so this is a vehicles deck. ETB Scry 2, when it crews a vehicle, the vehicle gets a buff. Sure. So Blast Zone on 2 should be on our radar because we don't have any 2-drops right now, and they've got 2 of them. But I just don't think we can afford to take the hits from the Copter until we can get that online. But, you know, Blast Zone might be a really good land in this matchup in general. Some point later on once we've stabilized a bit. So we want to let them crew, and we want them to move to beginning of combat, but we don't want to let them attack, because then they get the trigger, the loot. And then I'm just going to do this right now. Okay, we've drawn Blooming Marsh. So we could go field into Thoughtseize, but it's probably about time we get a little bit more proactive than that. Okay, so we see a couple of Roasts and a Heart of Curon. So our Deathrite Shaman's not living anyway. Guess we just take away Heart. I guess there's no particular reason to play out DRS, right? We're going to hang on to Fabled Passage because later on it could enable a Revolt. It could fuel Tracker, all that good stuff. Okay, so opponent drew something proactive to do. That's not great because we wanted them to have... Ooh, yeah. That's really not great. Now I wish we'd played Deathrite Shaman, so maybe they would have roasted this in response. Or roasted this instead of playing Gideon. Alright, so we might have to trade Vraska for Gideon now. Or is this thing just... As long as it's your turn, it's indestructible. Okay. Another Thoughtseize, not bad, but... Yeah, I think we gotta trade Vraska for Gideon. This guy is quite scary. So it's a bit of a shame they drew a threat in that window, but at least we have an answer to it. Bone Crusher Giant. Man, these things keep coming at the exact wrong times. If they just didn't have this, Liliana would have been, what an amazing draw, right? But, so what do we do now? We could not Thoughtseize this turn. We could just put 2 counters on Blast Zone. And then the following turn we kill the giant, and then the turn after that we Liliana. It's very slow. Very slow indeed. We're going to take 7 next turn, and then another 3 the turn after that. Then our Thoughtseize is nearly dead in hand. Oh boy. Other thing we can do is just dump out our entire hand here. Well, not quite, because we would need 4 colored sources to do that. Yeah, I don't see that the Blast Zone line is a winning line. So we're going to Thoughtseize, we're going to trade Liliana for the Motorist and to gain 4 life. And we're going to sandbag the Shaman. Yep. If the opponent had just missed like a really impactful 3-drop one of those 2 previous turns, I think our position would be really good. As it is, we're definitely kind of far behind, but we've got some good top decks. Jeez, they just keep gassing out. Not good. Not good, my friends, not good. But, I mean, Blast Zone is pretty solid here. I'm just fetching there to thin out a little bit. Might be more correct to save it, I don't know. Okay, so Trophy's a good draw. Once again, we're kind of tasked with the question of do we go for the 2-for-1 and take damage until then? Alright, I think we're just saying go. I don't even really want to play that Field of Ruin. We don't need it yet. Doesn't really add to the board at all. Yep. QB, okay. Alright, Zone taking care of the Planeswalker and the threat. Now we play the Deathrite Shaman. Perhaps it will draw out the Roast. If not, it can help stabilize us. And of course, if it draws out the Roast, then we've cleared the path for Questing Beast. Opponent's pretty clearly got a lot of mid-range-esque power of, you know, just card quality and top decks and so forth. So I still don't think our position is very good, but I mean, QB does line up pretty well against the weenies. Do they have another land, and if so, are they going to Roast? Looks like it. Alright, opponent's got one unknown in hand. We can really beat their board handily, but it's a big question of what's in hand. Deathrite Shaman? Cool. Alright, my friends, here's where we start taking over the game if they don't have more answers in hand. If they do, then who knows? Looks like they have yet another land in hand. We have drawn Collective Brutality. We're going to hold that for a bit. Hold up Trophy, hold up Shaman. There might be a better target down the road for Brutality. Stomp. Damage can't be prevented 2 to any target. Okay. So we are going to be priced into trophying this because it trades with QB. We could also untap and see what we draw, but I think it's good enough to field and then... I don't think we're going to turn anything on by doing this. I think it's good enough to field and then trophy. Start taxing their basics more aggressively. Who knows how many they're playing. And we do take 2 for doing this, but I don't think there's any avoiding it. Thoughtseize, pretty bad draw. So now's a pretty good window to Brutality. I think I'm gonna... I don't know how much burn they're gonna play in a deck like that, but I think I'm just going to kill an Inspector, drain them for 2. Seems good enough. All right, now they're in 2 hits of the QB, and we've got a much bigger life total. Heart of Kiran. Okay, so this thing can trade with QB. But they can't crew it. Tracker's a fine draw here. It's just basically a Balduvian Barbarians, which should be sufficient to help close out the game and or stay in it. And the opponent didn't. They did stop gassing out eventually, and QB just single-handedly winning that game. Wow. A couple people also suggested 2 or even 3 Questing Beast in the deck. You know, on the evidence of that, that seems pretty good. I'm not sure, of course, how it's going to line up in the format as a whole, but hey, pretty decent. So, do we want to mess around with Pithing Needle for vehicles? I'm not sure, but we'll put it there. Naturalize. Oh yeah, some people pointed out the Return to Nature is like a strictly better Naturalize. You're right. You're right. I acknowledge it. I agree. But we're still going to style on them with the Onslaught print of Naturalize. So there you go. Naturalize seems pretty fine here. We just don't want to have too many things that only deal with the vehicles, though. Bile Blight seems good. Gonti seems good. Is Heart of Kiran legendary? I think it is. They've got a lot of legends. They've got the Planeswalker Gideons. Maybe I don't know if we play Cast Down, but it's at least reasonable. They have a lot of 3-drops that are dangerous, so I think we're going to leave Legion's End on the bench. Exile target colorless creature. Okay. In life gain, that's actually kind of tempting here. So this is a tricky one to sideboard against, because again, we don't want too many things that only mess with the vehicles. Let's see what we don't like. I think we're going to take out a good amount of discard here, because the Duress could whiff, the Thoughtseize is painful. Go down to 1 or maybe 2 copies of Thoughtseize. The rest of our deck seems pretty awesome. Brutality was okay there, but I think we can trim 1, and that's pretty good. I don't really want to take out much else. I think everything else is quite good. So, having done that, what are our best cards? I kind of just like the inherent 2-for-1 of Gonti. I think we like Nissa here a lot. I think I'm going to play Naturalize? Nah. Let's go Bile Blight and let's play the Big Bomb of Garruk. It might not be correct to play both of our Big Bomb Planeswalkers. They are a little bit aggressive. You know, they're not like a pure mid-range strategy. They're very aggressive. But we have a ton of removal. We really do. So at the same time, I don't mind the inevitability of those top-end cards. Look at this. It's a virtually mono-black hand. It's a definite keep. The game's going to go long. The opponent mulliganed. And our spells are all black except our 6-drop, which, even if our mono wasn't perfect, we wouldn't be casting that anytime soon anyway, you know? Alright, Inspector is a really good turn 1 play for them, of course. Thoughtseize, we see Copter, which we can push, Heart of Kiran, which we can push, and is also dead, and then Roast, which we don't care about, so even though it's pushable, we're going to take the Copter, because there's going to be other push targets where that came from, for sure. Alright, just really want to draw a green land of any kind now, and we should be in very good shape. Opponent just holding up the clue, and there's our green land. Nice. Is it worth shocking in to hold up Trophy? I doubt it. I think we're just going to respect our life total more than that. We don't really want to ramp them early either. Still get to hold up Fatal Push this way. we're unlikely to push an Inspector, but, you know, depending on what they do, maybe we actually will, because we've just got so much removal in hand, it's just lets us be mana efficient. Okay, there's that heart. Are we pushing Inspector? Nah, let's not. Let's not and say we did. Anyone used to say that when you were a kid? Let's not and say we did. Doesn't make sense, but we used to say it all the time. Pretty hilarious if you ask me. Alright, so we got push and trophy, or we've just got Swift End. Ooh, yeah, hello. Okay, so we're going to be very happy that we have trophy and push here, because I think they're going to crew the heart. Removing a counter from Gideon, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe they won't. And then we can just Swift End the Gideon, I guess. Alright, that's a scary card that we were able to deal with. We've still got a Swift End in hand if they have another Planeswalker. We're creeping up toward Garruk mana. We haven't taken that much damage, but it's starting to add up. And we draw a Grim Flayer. Is that roast bait? Or are we better off just holding up Rider? I think we're going to hold up Swift End, and then the Rider can maybe be roast bait. Of course, we can always draw another Thoughtseize to get rid of that roast, perhaps. Phew, the Gideon squad, huh? Alright, so we're going to be down to 10 after this, but this is still the play. And yep, now we're just going wide. We're not really that close to Delirium, which is kind of annoying, but just getting some bodies down is good here. One land away from Garruk. Oh no, Bone Crusher Giant, so good. And now they've got Roast as their final card, plus a top deck, plus the Giant. Yep. Alright, so if they don't play the Giant here, wow, interesting. Okay, this is going to be great for us, I think. The only bad thing is we have to shock in here, but I think we definitely have to. So, do we just make 2 wolves? If they have another giant, making 2 wolves is a little bit worse. Like, I still think we kind of want to, though. The card is appealing, but the wolves are awesome. Getting the loyalty up. Let's go wide with the wolves. Also, just make sure they can't, like, erase us as easily. Ignore Garruk and try to erase us. Okay, there's the giant. How cool will it be if Garruk just helps us make the stand here? We draw like a Scooz or a Shaman. Wow, looks like it. Okay, so now I think we're going to draw a card, kill the giant. Don't think we're going to cast that Thoughtseize. Think we're just going to cast a Flayer. Let's say go. I got a roast for the Flayer. Yep. The wolves are holding them off. We draw a Courser of Kruphix. Beautiful. Making more wolves. Guess before we show them the Courser, we'll attack here. Nice. The value, the value. We're going to be disciplined with our push here. There's no reason to get too crazy with it, I don't think. The army of Garruk has been assembled. So 2, 10. Yeah, we don't quite have lethal even if we fire up Quagmire and push. So we're just going to not do those things. And I don't think we're playing around any kind of a sweeper effect. We're just going to run out the Flayer. Because even if they have it, we have QB off the top to finish them. Creatures you control gain indestructible. Take an extra turn after this one. Beginning of that turn's end step, you lose the game. So, do we push anything right now? Let's not. Just playing around a haste threat better by doing that. And, okay, they don't have anything anyway. Yeah, it's debatable whether to push the knight, you know, just in case, but we've got 3 blockers to their 2 creatures, so indestructible for what's on board doesn't really matter. and a haste threat can in theory be played around with Fatal Push to some degree. Either way, it doesn't matter. Super corner case thinking there, and we start off with a real strong 2-0, my friends. Both games were close, but both games are value kind of dug in at the end there. Got us over the line. Cool. Very cool. I mean, yeah, that was sweet. Garruk, Cursed Huntsman. You love to see it. I think I'm going to keep this super low curve hand with only one land on the draw. It's definitely a little risky, but it can definitely really get there. Guess we're Thoughtseizing here. Don't know what Cinderglade means. Sylvan Caryatid. Ilharg the Razeboar. Alright, I think we're probably just taking the mana dork that we can't kill, because they don't have the mana. And there it is, our second land, lovely. So let's see what their hand actually does. 5/4, something gets haste if they've got a big board. Gearhulk, either a 6/6 first strike, it is a 6/6 first strike, ETB draw 3, or a bunch of damage after milling 3. And then the Razeboar is going to be, I mean, this is just like a big beatdown, basically. There might be a combo element with this, but I don't know. So we're definitely pushing or brutalitying. The question is, do we think brutality will be useful with other modes, or should we just be mana efficient here? I think we're just going to be mana efficient here. It's also tempting to just push and play Deathrite Shaman, but we don't have the fuel for it yet. So, alright. I guess that's probably our play now. Or do we have to take a turn off for Flayer? Nah, I think we're going to go Thoughtseize Deathrite. And just take the lower curve stuff. Slow them down as much as possible, because I don't know really what exactly the deck's up to. They're hitting all their lands on curve. That's pretty rough. We are not. We hit one. There we go. There we go. Alright, so we have only sorceries in the yard. We're gonna have lands. I think we kind of need that Murderous Rider, so we're going to put the push in the bin. We're not going to give ourselves Delirium this way, but actually, you know what? We're going to be fetching with Fabled Passage anyway, so let's just get Delirium. That was bad. I probably should have fetched first. I was just thinking of too many different things. Alright. We don't have an out to it. And keeping the... I wanted to keep the Rider on the top, but we couldn't have cast it anyway, because our fetch would ETB tapped, basically. So when this attacks, World Spine Worm is going to come down tapped and attacking. So we definitely have to Thoughtseize here. Okay, the Gearhulk, I mean, we can technically beat, but probably not in the short term. Yeah, we just can't beat the Razeboar. Okay. It's a shame they have another one, but that was one of our kinda sorta outs. And they put it back, so there's a lot of inevitability with this deck. So the next one they play is going to have haste. Probably can't beat that unless we draw like Murderous Rider right now, and we don't. So they're going to go Raise Boar, Gear Hulk, attack us for 12, put us to 2. We're going to have to let them draw 3. So our job is to kill them next turn. And I'm sure we're not going to be able to, but I guess the way to do that is to go Tracker into land. I didn't think about growing the Skoos. I'm sure there were other lines open to me. But this is a deck that this is a big mana deck, you know. We have this problem of it going over the top of us in Modern too. So best case scenario is this Combustible Gear Hulk. Obviously pretty rough. Yes. They all trample, so we're just going to untap, try to kill them next turn. Not going to happen. Unless we draw a kill spell for the Raise Boar, maybe. And we do. Okay. So, Ooze eating 2 things and blocking might be big enough to survive, help us survive. Guess this is the way to go. We also have Deathrite Shaman mana, so we can make the Ooze a 6/6. Trophy one thing, outsize another, maybe. Hanweir Battlements. Gonna give something haste. Combustible Gear Hulk. Yes. Might as well eat that now, I suppose. Okay. So there's no trample here. I don't know if we should have been playing around like a lightning strike or something. I just have no idea. Okay, they got a hexproof, and that's pretty rough. That is pretty rough. That's one of the reasons I wanted to try to do some damage there, which we did. Yep, that's one of the things they could have had that we can't beat. Annoying. They've got another Raise Boar in the hand by now, I believe. They've got the hand rebattlements. I don't know what else we have, but let's crack a clue, I guess. Wow, this deck is wild, isn't it? We do have push for this champion. Ugh. Rhythm of the Wild. Giving everything haste is killing us. So, we are dead. We fetch, we push one, we block two, we're dead. Super close. They needed to keep having... They needed to have that Sylvan Caryatid, basically, to stay alive there. Don't know that us doing anything else would have... I mean, I'm sure we had different lines, right? But seems like a terrible matchup. We did almost get there, even though it didn't look like we had very good position, really. So, seems like a real tough one. I think we like Cast Down, even though it can't kill the Rage Boar. I think we need Decays to kill Generator Servants, which they showed us at the end. I think we can cut Brutalities. Kalitas might be a little slow and undersized for what they're doing. I think Last Hope is alright on the play. Do we want to play Lost Legacy? Possibly. Alright. Do we want to play Pithing Needle? Okay, we're going to get the Duresses out. We're going to leave the Thoughtseizes in. It's a little counterintuitive, but I almost kind of want Garruk as like the repeatable top-end Doomblade. We could play Nissa to race, or, you know, Gonti for Death Touch in the 2-for-1 might not be the worst. They have a lot of First Strike and Trample, though. I guess we play him. We gotta leave in our small stuff like pushes, I think, to kill, again, Servants, Llanowar Elves, things like this. Real tough matchup as far as I can tell. I definitely don't think I played that game one optimally, but this is a keep. But in this brand spanking new format, what do you want, right? What do you want? It's worth noting that the opponent last game also kept a slightly risky hand with few lands, and we killed their early ramp, and then they just drew the lands they needed when they needed them, right? Okay, so do we just kill this thing with Liliana? I don't think we strictly need to be that value efficient in this matchup, but I still kind of want to. Still think we're going to. Really punished for it. Really, really punished for it. And this deck is already pretty tilting, not gonna lie. We still attack because they're just gonna sack this. And yeah, so apparently we should have done something on the end step last turn, play around Veil of Summer. I mean, if you can't depend on Liliana on the play, when can you, I guess, but maybe that was the wrong play. Maybe we should have given it the old Abrupt Decay on the end step, drawn out the Veil. And now we're just totally shields down because everything in all our interaction is 2 mana plus. Champion of Ronus. Okay. Oh, cool. Yeah. Big mana decks are our bane in every format. So, can't kill it with anything. It outsizes Vraska and Decay. It is also pro instance. All we can do is shrink it and erase it. Alright, you called the bluff. I'm scooping there. We're not dead until next turn, but I am not going to beat Emrakul. I don't think we have any outs to it, sadly. If we had Liliana's Triumph still in our deck, then perhaps, and that would certainly be a card that came in. I mean, a lot of people were not high on Triumph. That's initially why I put it in. Not even for the Edict effect strictly to play around like Bogles or something like that, although Bogles does exist. But there's going to be some decks that are cheating out an Emrakul, of either Emrakul really, or some other big stuff, yeah, Triumph would be nice there. But all of our removal is basically instant speed. Garrick, but we were too far away. They got it down too early. But instant does, that's a sorcery, doesn't hit it. Yeah, I don't think we had any outs. That was a brutal matchup. That was a feel-bad one. And again, game one, it's possible that we had it. I don't know. With the way that they dumped out their hand at the end, I don't know if we did have it, if I had played a little bit better. But there was room to improve. But at the same time, I think that matchup, I hope that deck doesn't catch on. I hope that deck's not good enough against anything but mid-range to see play, right? We'll keep. It's a great hand. Good luck, have fun to you as well. Blooming Marsh. It's either a mirror match or elves, or who knows. Nah, neither. I was wrong. It's a graveyard deck. Okay, well, we do have a Scooze. So there's a tension between getting a forest for Fabled Passage and having 3 green mana on turn 3 versus just going Tomb into Forest so we can cast a Lily the Last Hope at some point. I don't know which is better overall. I think I'm going to do it this way because, like, if we get to untap with our Scooze and they haven't already run us over by then, hopefully 2 activations versus 3 activations is not the difference maker. So they've got Charnel Troll, which is a payoff for having a big graveyard. They've got other things in the graveyard they'd rather have on the field, and then Scrap Heap. Cannot block and can be rebought. Fair. Alright, let's hope they don't have removal for Scooze. Not offering the Stick Your Supplier up. Ooh, Thoughtseize coming a turn too late for them to beat our Scooze. Our hand is extremely redundant from here, so I don't care about that. I just care about them not having an answer for my Scooze. And being entirely unfamiliar with this format, I don't know how much we should be main phasing Scooze activations versus holding them up. I don't know what's in the opponent's deck really at all. Again, if we are getting those activations at all, that should be really what the match hinges upon. Okay, there goes Last Hope. Push. Seems alright. So I don't think we're going to do anything main phase. I don't see the need to give them the supplier trigger yet. Eventually we'll have to attack through it, but alright, I think we have to use our mana efficiently here. And at this point I'm just getting more green. We draw a castle, so we're rewarded for that. So I think we're going to try to take care of the Scrounger right here, right now. Okay, apparently that was good enough. Apparently that was correct enough. Alright, Scavenging Ooze really showing its worth. You gotta love that. So they have some effects that Pithing Needle could hit. I saw that Charnel Troll there and Scrap Heap Scrounger. I'm sure there are others, but whether we want that, I don't know. We definitely want Cage. We'll consider that. We play Veil of Summer because they're on Thoughtseize, maybe. Put that in the maybe board. Lost Legacy. It's technically graveyard hit. Legion's End is definitely coming in. Don't think we want Duress. I don't know how much we want Thoughtseize either, in all honesty. Pretty inclined to trim at the very least. Our top end stuff's all acceptable. Maybe Vraska's kind of the worst of it. Kalitas is great. I think Lily the Last Hope is good enough against graveyard decks with a lot of X1s. Probably going to move away from trophies and keep the rest of the removal in. So if we do that, we've got 6 spots. We could bring in all of this stuff. I just don't know how good like Pithing Needle and Veil of Summer are, but yeah, probably better than this stuff. I don't want too many Thoughtseizes. I think 2 is sufficient. Alright, let's roll like this. Who knows? Who knows? Certainly, my friends, not me. So notably, Lost Legacy cannot hit Scrap Heap Scrounger because it's an artifact. And there it is in our opening hand. Well, we've got some sideboard cards, but we don't have any graveyard hit. I don't think... Is Pithing Needle and Lost Legacy enough to keep this hand? Non-artifact, non-land. Maybe. We'll try it. This is a fact-finding mission as much as anything else. I seriously don't know. They got the Thoughtseize here. No, they got Bloodsoaked Champion. Some aristocrat-style action going on here. Do we jam Pithing Needle yet, or do we just get our Quagmire down? I think we're just getting Quag down. So if the game goes long, we now have the tracker value guaranteed to be online. So we've got 2 cages, 3 shamans, 3 scoozes into Kalitas. Off the top of my head is graveyard hate. It's definitely fine to mulligan more aggressively than we did here. But they might play enough of a value-oriented game that I wasn't sure whether that's correct, and Grim Flayer is some indication anyway of that. Still don't see any pressing need to play Pithing Needle. Guess we just hold up Abrupt Decay. It's not particularly effective against their board right now, but maybe they'll play something where it is. Charnel Troll. Sure, I'm happy to decay that. Grim Flayer, huh? So we could go... We could play Lost Legacy. getting rid of all the trolls, I guess, would be the thing to do, or maybe the Flayers, but... Or we could go Flayer Pithing Needle. Pithing Needle maybe naming Bloodsoaked Champion. I guess we're doing that. Not something you see every day, and probably not correct, but we've got kind of a strange progression here. It's possible that we should have gone for the higher upside of Lost Legacy naming Troll, just hoping they had another one in hand and really getting them that way. But at some point we need to point removal or make a trade with Champion. At least it's not as bad now. Okay. Opponent with a Supplier, milling more kind of like fair cards. This is kind of the suspicion I had, right? That's why I didn't want to mull that heavily. Ooh, but Charnel Troll coming down. Dang. Alright. Thoughtseize is an interesting one. Now's our time to Thoughtseize if we're going to. But at the same time, we can't while also casting Tracker. I think we need to get the Tracker down. Try to just outsize their board eventually. Maybe the Charnel Troll will lose to itself. Our position's not great, though. If they have a third troll in hand, we're extra punished, and we're probably not going to win. And the Lost Legacy on troll would have been basically a way to cheese out the game. So we'll see. We'll see. Think we're taking this hit. If they have creatures to discard, we're in trouble. They either don't, or they'd rather go wide with them. Hardcast and Narcomoeba. And a land. Alright. Murderous Rider. It's actually kind of a decent blocker right now. So I think our Lost Legacy... Ooh, hold up. If we Lost Legacy Trolls now... then unless they have something left in hand, then they're going to have to lose the troll. So we could Thoughtseize to force that first, but unless it's another troll, that doesn't help us, and that puts us even lower on life. So I guess we should be cracking a clue first here, and then we either go Legacy or hardcast the Rider. Yeah, we could have found a Scooze here or something, but we don't, so let's just go for Lost Legacy naming Charnel Troll, I guess. So hopefully they'll have to sack the one on board, and we can beat the rest of their board, maybe. They have a trophy in hand. Okay, maybe we cannot beat the rest of the board, but we are going to take a look at their exact build. So they have 2 trophies, 2 total brutalities, a Grisly Salvage, a couple of Noxious Grasp, gain 1 life, destroy a green creature or walker, 2 Veil of Summer, this card's everywhere, and then a lot of other dredge stuff, and a Copter. Interesting deck. Okay, so trophies, big problem. Trophy's a big, big problem. It's a rough last card for them to have. At least it's not a creature. And if they stumble a little bit, you know, Murderous Rider can potentially help stabilize us. So they're going to Trophy Tracker. Well, it depends on what else they drew. Yeah, Trophy the Tracker. I think I'm going to get Swamp here to bluff a Fatal Push, which might complicate their decision-making here. Nope. Not at all. They just go all in. Makes sense. Probably the right call no matter what we have. Okay, can the Rider stabilize us? The Scrounger. Deathrite Shaman. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can crack a clue and still do what we want to do, so let's begin with that. Alright, you know, if they don't have removal, their attacks don't seem to be that great. They can chip with Narcomoeba, and that's a problem for us, but we've got bigger ground troops, we've got lifelink, making their, you know, suicide attacks no good, and we have the Deathrite Shaman disruption and life gain. Conveniently enough, both on the same ability. So right now, you know, I don't think we can afford to play around like combat tricks. So we'd be blocking Scrounger with Flayer, Wayfinder with Rider, taking the other 2, I guess. I mean, maybe we could also block Supplier with Shaman. I'm just not sure how risky it is to give them that death trigger, but, you know, actually we are probably supposed to take that block. We don't want to... I think we're kind of dead to Collective Brutality either way. We'll see. We'll just see. Opponent tanking over the decision here. Oh, they found a Noxious Grasp, but they target Grim Flayer. Okay, so... if we block the 2 things along the ground, we take 4, gain 2. I think we have to. I don't think we're supposed to. I don't think trading away our Murderous Rider is a winning line. And they can just buy back the Scrounger. So we take 4, gain 2, we go to 1. Okay. Fabled Passage, not a good draw. Let's begin by cracking a clue. We're looking for removal here. Fatal Push. Okay, so we push the Scrounger. Nah, this isn't great, actually. It's not bad. We save it till next turn. But the problem is, like, right now is the window where they can only activate this once. But we just have to eat our way through the graveyard, keep gaining life. Obviously, finding a Scooze there or something would have been almost lights out. So we gain 2 life there. We're going to gain another virtual 3 life here by pushing the Scrounger. And try to just keep staying in this game with life gain and by eating through the graveyard with Shaman. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things in the graveyard besides Scrounger. They're going to have to eat one of them their own to bring this back. That's down to 4. We're going to eat 1 this turn with Shaman. It's down to 3. You know what? I'm going to do it right now. Nah, it's their end step. It's their end step. I was going to say, I'm going to do it right now to play around Brutality, but going to their end step does that too. QB. Okay. I don't think it really mattered when we did that. QB was an awesome draw here. The opponent could be on removal, or they could be on a kind of brick. They could have drawn a land. Anything in between. Removal here would be pretty tough. Yeah, jeez, that sucks. That really, really sucks. Okay, we just went from a very good position back to kind of a poor one. We do have the Quagmire to block. Maybe we're supposed to block with the Quagmire here. I think I'm gonna. Okay, so they've got 3 other creatures in the graveyard. We're continuing to clock slowly and gain some life. Another Narcomoeba, but kind of a rough draw. Fatal Push. Fatal Push is fine. Okay, they activate now. Do we get to get him here, right? Okay, I think that was a punt from the opponent. I think they were supposed to untap so they have the mana to do it twice. Well, so I think we're taking this. Our life total's a lot more comfortable now. Another Scrounger, huh? All right. It's quite the top deck in some ways. In other ways, I think we're able to beat it. Murderous Rider OP, the 2/3 lifelinker. Obviously, Deathrite Shaman doing an enormous amount of work here, too. Once again, we're just kind of gonna gain 3 life with our Fatal Push, and then maybe they'll play into our effect again. Copter. Ooh, Copter, huh? And I think it's correct for us to just keep eating away at the graveyard because they have so few creatures left in it. And we just need the life. This does give them the window to bring this back. But it's still good for us. We draw a Tracker. Pretty good. So Copter kind of shutting us down here big time. Our Rider attacks, that is, but we've got the Deathrite Shaman reach and life gain, so Guess we're just saying go here. That was a good draw, the Copter. This game is intense, my friends. It is intense. I'm seeing a lot of crazy stuff considering how new I am. It's my first league, really putting me to the test. I hope I'm playing okay here. So unfortunately, they're going to get this trigger off Copter before we go to blocks. Hope they don't find some kind of removal here. Okay, so we're going to put Rider in front of this, gain some more life. And then, I think I'm going to do this right now. Okay, what did the opponent loot into? They pitched a Wastes to the Copter. What's the last card in their hand? They do not have lethal on board. They cannot buy this back right now. They're all tapped out, so no chump blocks are going to enable that. More lands is pretty bad. That's pretty good. That, my friends, is what we call pretty good. Nice draw of the Skoos. That should really put this game away unless they're really slow rolling removal and then they draw another piece of removal. We did it. Alright guys, alright, the deck looking real strong against this graveyard based deck that does pack a lot of value. It's not like they just fell apart to our graveyard interaction. Not at all. They have trophies and brutalities and Thoughtseizes and Smuggler's Copters and all that good stuff to grind through. And they have some things like Charnel Troll that are graveyard. They thrive off the graveyard, but they are not like all or nothing graveyard based cards. Like it's still a 4/4 trample with upside. Definitely respectable in its own right. So there we go, 2-1. 2-1. We dropped what looks like a fairly unwinnable match, and the other more winnable ones we are 2-0 in both. And hey, I will take it. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Show them what it means to rock. Hand is fine. We go Fabled Passage for a forest on turn 1. Turn 2, probably Flayer unless we are against another graveyard deck. Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize is interesting because they're telegraphing a fatal push here, but it's not mana efficient and we have a ton of threats. So I think what we're actually going to do is play a Scooze because they could be a graveyard deck, and Scooze is not necessary in multiples, so running out one is fine. If it gets pushed, we have another. And this turn we get to go Thoughtseize into Flayer, Gifted Aetherborn. Or just Thoughtseize, Fatal Push, or just kill it with Murderous Rider. Lots of lines, actually. Lots of lines. The question is, how badly do we need to Thoughtseize? I kind of think we do. Kind of think we want to Thoughtseize here. Don't think killing this thing is of immediate urgency. Triple Gifted Aetherborn. Yikes. Yikes, yikes. So this is Mono Black Devotion. We take the Kalitas. And now I think we're kind of priced into pushing this first one, because none of our stuff immediately lines up that well against it. Okay. Yeah, we're just going to kill this one with the Rider. So we know they still have a Nykthos in hand. We draw Swamp. I'm going to play around discard by doing this, and both things are now going to be big enough to trade with an Aetherborn if we decide that's good. Okay. Last card in their hands, removal, pretty annoying, but our position's still fine. It's just going to come down to the top decks now. If Grim Flayer... Oh, jeez, that's quite the top deck from the opponent. Okay, so now we're in a bad spot, but again, we got a million good top decks here. Okay. Exponent says exciting matchup, I know, right? We're trading off Quag here. Okay, so opponent has flooded a bit, then again so have we. We draw Push. Not bad. I'm still going to sandbag this Marsh because Tireless Tracker is so good. Oh my god. So many Murderous Riders. Okay, let's draw that tracker. Alright, shot call moment of the league. There we go, timestamp it, my friends. That was epic. That was epic. Well, that's probably GG, says opponent. Yep, that's exactly why I called the shot, my friend. That's why I wanted this card. Okay, Quag is a good one. also a good one here. I think I'm going to decay here if they attack. Ayara, First of Locthwain. Tap, sack another black creature, draw a card. Okay. I think we care more about that than the Rider. Like, the Rider's lifelink is annoying right now, and the clock isn't great either, but Tracker can outsize that soon enough. I mean, technically is right now. I think we're going to attack here. There are some incentives to crack Clue, more damage, and all that, but I'm happy to once again trade Quagmire for Rider. And the opponent concedes because the advantage is just insurmountable, and they flooded too much. Sweet. So, nice top deck, basically. Nice top deck of Tireless Tracker. That was a lot of trading of resources, and then boom. Tracker is going to do it. So Veil of Summer and the Planeswalkers are good here. Bile Blight would have been really nice against all those Aetherborns. Gonti. Legion's End seems decent, but maybe they have too much that goes over the top of it. Maybe we have enough other things to do. Cast Down is also questionable. It's probably going to be good enough, but missing Ayara is a little rough. So definitely these 5 and maybe these 2. And I think we're just cutting. I think we can cut like all discard in this matchup, and it's pretty good. Collective Brutality is pretty bad here too. They have a lot of toughness 3. So let's play a Cast Down and either a Legion's End or a Thoughtseize. Let's play a single Thoughtseize on the draw. And we don't know really how good Legion's End is. Haven't seen enough of their deck, perhaps. So, there we go. Opponent will keep 7. I believe we definitely will as well. Okay. We're telegraphing here, but that's worth it. In case they have discard coming up, we really don't want to go shields down on Veil, and if nothing else, we can push whatever they have here on turn 2. Sign in Blood. Alright. We can cantrip with Veil right now, but I don't think I'm gonna. And because we made that decision, we're going to kind of sequence in a way where we're basically always holding up Veil from here on out, I think. There's no massive need to run out a 2-drop there anyway. Yarok's Fenlurker. Jeez. Brutal. And that doesn't target. Guess we have to pick Fabled Passage here. What else does this thing do? Okay, guess we're pushing. Deathrite Shaman. Interesting. So we can play Shaman, then we're holding up Veil or Trophy. It's not that mana efficient, though, compared to playing Flayer and holding up just Veil. Let's go for Deathrite. Wow. OP's card advantage is quite something. Okay, now we get the Veil Blowout. Nice. Liliana, the Last Hope. Resolving her would be pretty good here. Or we can just ramp with Shaman and have a double spell turn. I guess there's no immediate need to resolve her. She's almost better next turn, buying back one of the things they'll inevitably kill. So I guess we're going to have a double spell turn. Are we... Nah, you know what? I'm a little worried about a sweeper. Opponent's Yarok's Fenlurker did kind of hurt us. They might have just a swift end for the Lily, but... Yep. Oh, man. You know, we won through these 2-for-1s in the beginning, but... Opponent has 2 Sign-in Bloods this time around. That's a little bit different, right? I think I'm going to keep making them have removal here. It's of course very possible that they do, but I'm getting to the point of the game where I'm interested in having and not wasting. Oh, man. Yarok's Fenlurker. I don't know how much of this stuff is in the opponent's sideboard, but they're pretty well configured to grind. That I can tell you. They've got another push here. Maybe they wait for this window in case we have another Veil, which we didn't, so that's fine. But, man, they've got a whole lot. Oh my goodness. Lifebane Zombie just punishing us for not playing out the Flayer last turn. Like, definitely wasn't playing around that. Jeez. All this hand disruption on a stick. Pretty awesome in lots of windows here in this matchup. I guess we're like... We're basically dead if we don't top deck gas anyway, so we might as well just assume we're going to. Alright, good draw. The opponent still got 5 cards in hand, plus the Rider in exile. Lily, the Last Hope, buying back Lifebane Zombie or taking up to Shrink. Shrinking the Flayer. Fabled Passage. Alright, I mean, I guess we send everything at Liliana. If they don't have a Fatal Push, she's dead. Turn off auto yields, because if this doesn't work, maybe I play the Passage. Like if they killed Quagmire, maybe I would, but because they didn't, we're going to hold it. It's weak against another Yarok's Fenlurker, but how many of these can they have? Grey Merchant of Asphodel. Oh, can we stop flooding? Can we stop flooding? So, we don't really have good attacks. And that wouldn't be the end of the world, except they've got the card advantage, and they clearly have gas in hand because they've missed land drops, and we don't. They might have more Garys in hand. That'd be awful. So... I think we're kind of in desperation mode enough to attack with both of these. If they call our bluff, they block both with the Flayer. That's not good, but at least we get... Alright. Okay, this is fine. This is so fine. We get the Flayer trigger. Okay. Bin, you definitely want to draw the tracker. Do we want to draw Cast Down? I suppose that's good. Okay, Tracker might be able to turn the ship around. I'm going to fire up Quagmire as a blocker here no matter what, basically, if they attack. Oh boy, Bolas of Citadel. Look at the top card anytime. They can play it, pay life rather than its mana cost, and you can sack 10 things to deal 10. Wow. So they got to swamp off the top, presumably. It's going to be a tough card to beat. And Tracker and Cast Down don't do it directly. But we might be able to pressure them into not being able to use this much. Again, snap blocking, snap trading off Quagmire here. So do we take the kill on the Fenlurker, or do we trade with the Gray? Guess we just take the kill, right? Oh, and then a Languish. Well, that sucks. Okay, maybe Tracker can compete with the Citadel. It's not that likely, especially if they have more life gain, but there's not a 0% chance, right? So opponent playing all of this grindy stuff, and also the performance of Garruk for us means, you know, maybe it's just because the format is new, but I don't think we're like too grindy, right? Oh my goodness, Whip of Erebos. Oh. Then Lily of the Last Hope from hand. Ooh, this is a brutally grindy deck. Bolas' Citadel. Man, oh man. What a time to be alive with this card facing us down. Okay, maybe Tracker cannot quite single-handedly compete with this stuff. I don't know what they're tapping 7 for, but it can't be good. Oh, man. Yep, nothing we can do about this. Lily is going to mill 2 swamps. Buy back the Fenlurker. I guess most draws in our deck are better than Blooming Marsh. We have a cast down on top. Sure, I guess we just let that resolve without cracking our clue. Well, oh no, we fetched. Sorry, we didn't know it was on top. So if we block here, they're going to be able to buy it back with Whip. But maybe we draw Scooze or a kill for Whip. So I think we have to take the block and hope we do that. See a couple cards off the top. Oh no, that gets exiled. Okay, so they can't buy that specifically back. Gonti, Lord of Luxury. Sure. So taking the Kalitas is very tempting. But then we're, sure. We're going to attack the Liliana here. I think it's better to hold up push. Could be better if they decide to, like, block here, then buy it back to get the last card out of our hand. We get to, or they'll just let her die, sure. Or if they don't do anything to our hand, we get to go Kalitas push next turn. Okay, we're dead. Even if we push in response, we take exactly 6. And we're pretty far behind on the clock, and these games are very grindy, so I will scoop. And that's an insane amount of grind from the opponent, but really where they won the game is all that hand disruption in the mid-game that was attached to a body. So that was pretty tough. I mean, we could bring in a Naturalize for Whip and Bolas' Citadel. And I'm more inclined to play Thoughtseize now. Again, I think Pithing Needle might be a little weak in this matchup. It definitely does some things. They might not have outs to it either. We'll at least consider it. Grafdigger's Cage does some stuff too, but again, we don't want too many of these unimpactful static hate pieces. So I think I'm a little less interested in like Bile Blight. Just got to get more value oriented. Maybe even cutting a Decay, worrying more about the top end. I think I'm going to try this Naturalize. Last card to cut. Could be Cast Down, could be a second Decay. I think we're just cutting a second Decay. The stuff that beats us goes over the top of us, and or is like a 2-for-1 that we don't care that much about removing when it hits the field. We have a lot of really good cards here, make no mistake. Opponent definitely outground us there, but we can outgrind them like we did in Game 1. They have way less flood insurance than us. We could just curve out while they flood out. We're going to keep. It's definitely very, very bad mana. But it's a functional hand, and mulling in this matchup, very poor. Oh my goodness. This card, man, this card. I think now we're going to Veil to Cantrip and get rid of field. I mean, it is only a 1/1 with a pretty poor pump ability that it leaves behind, so I guess it's not like a game-breakingly powerful card, but it's opponent seeing it nice and early at the right times, early and mid, right? I'd love to just draw another land or two running here. Let us curve out nicely. Ask and you shall receive. Okay, so now opponent does have to deal with the Flayer, otherwise we're going to start getting value that tramples right over the Fenlurker. And next turn we get to go Tracker into fetch land, so that's obviously great. Opponent will sign in Blood, also great. And the push. Sign in Blood putting in the work for the OP, but hey, we got the Tracker. We got the clues, baby. And we got a really strong hand. Okay, not Nissa mana because it comes in tapped, so I guess we're just going Kalitas mode. Forcing the opponent to just keep having removal, which maybe they will. How many Murderous Riders do they play? I think more than us. Thoughtseize. Awkwardly timed. Unless we play Nissa tick her up. And then Thoughtseize, that's interesting. But I think I'd rather, if I'm playing Nissa, get guaranteed value. Buy back the Tracker. Yeah, I mean, they can't remove her with just attacks, so they'll have to spend another Murderous Rider probably to do it if they're going to. She'll be at 2 loyalty, go down to 1 from the attack. I guess that's pretty good. I guess we're still trying to compete on the value axis here. And is it Tracker or is it Kalitas that we buy back? That's a big question. I think we're just going for the pure grindy value. One of us true lands, though, yeah. Well, you know. Oh no, they have a Lifebane zombie for our tracker. Dang. Dang, dang. Alright, so pretty much have to Thoughtseize this turn no matter what else we're doing, right? So the Fenlurker is going to do not much if we just dump out our hand, which I think we will. And Cast Down is good, but a little bit whatever now, so we're taking something that's going to beat us in the long game. I guess that's probably Whip. Just playing Protect the Nissa here. We definitely don't want to crack a clue. We don't want to make their Fenlurker good. Man, I should have known these Pioneer games, especially to start, would just be deep in the tank. Slug fests, as I said in the chat. Oh no, what? What is going on? Did I just get booted? Magic Online is currently offline for scheduled maintenance. Well, that is insane, my friends. That is just insane. Oh, we were very favored to win that, I think, and we were about to get to the 3-1. And look at this. Look at this. This is some crap. But I guess we're going to upload it for you anyway, just to get you the content ASAP, because who knows how long it's going to be this way, right? Who knows how long it's going to be before I get back on here. So that sucks. I am deeply sorry that the league ended that way, but at least you got to see some Pioneer content right out of the gates. We were poised to go 3-1 going into the 5th round. I think we were going to take that one, but oh, MTGO, I got to do this to us. I guess let's try one more time, just in case it's a super temporary issue here. Of course, I'm going to be able to get a refund on this. It's just booting us right off in the middle of a game. So, okay, that's terrible. That's annoying. But this happened right after Eldraine came out, too. Clearly, they had issues launching new things. So, anyway, guys, let me know what you thought about the lists. I'm deeply sorry for the way this ended. Feels bad, but nothing I can do about it. Nothing I can do about it. So, I believe, I had different lines in that big mana game, against that big mana combo deck, but otherwise, I think we played pretty well against Mono Black Devotion, against the Graveyard deck, and against the Boros Vehicles deck, considering it's my first time out, and more importantly, the deck looked good there. So, signs are promising. Here you go. Here's our incomplete league for the beginning of Pioneer. I don't know if this is a bad omen or not, but here it is. I hope you enjoyed it anyway, and of course we'll play more. We'll play more once MTGO is back online. Well, that's all I can say. So, Thank you so much for watching, and let me know what you think about the changes that I made to the list. I'm pretty happy with how they performed here, but, you know, the format is still 1 day old, so maybe we can do even better. I will talk to you soon. Hope everybody out there has a wonderful day.